This is the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans podcast. We do this on a Monday night after a Sunday delight, a 4-1 victorious win over Aston Villa, which at half time, there was a smattering of booze. But like any Spurs game, we go one down to then score loads of goals. It's myself, Lee Tarrier, Matty Kerr. We got TJ back. How you doing, boys? You okay?
Yeah, mate.
Good, mate. All good.
Enjoyed the weekend. Literally loved it. I actually had a weekend at home. I didn't go for a change. So,
all right.
Yeah, mate. But then enjoyed it that much. Drunk loads of drink, had loads of nice food, and now I'm suffering with gout. So I'm literally stuck to this chair. I can't move.
Oh, mate.
Agony.
No. Oh,
But
mate.
yeah.
What? Red wine? What was you having?
Fucking everything that I shouldn't. Seafood, red meat, wine. Yeah, all of it, mate. Yeah, it's basically everything I'm not meant to have. I had celebrating that lovely fucking 4-1 win, and here we are.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, all day long, mate. I'll do it again. This pain is unreal. I wouldn't wish it on an Arsenal fan. It's that bad.
Honestly. I've heard, man. Oh God, Jesus! But I mean, that is a good thing. We did get the win. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook Live as we speak. We're even having a bit of fun with a TikTok. We don't know if it's working yet, Matty. How are we doing on that? We good?
No, because it's the first time doing it on TikTok Live Studio. We have to request access, so I'll sort that out for next week.
Right, that'll be on the next one. But we're in every way that you can. If you listen to us in the traditional sense, in Spotify and Apple Music, Amazon Podcast, hello to you. And look, I'm sure you're all as happy as we are. Matt, as TJ watched it at home, was you at the ground?
Lee?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, mate. My screen just went black.
You went deaf for a second.
I went.
Yeah, was you at the game?
Yeah, mate. I went to it. Yeah, mate. Unbelievable, man. Good atmosphere. It was quality, man. I think even first half, I thought we were good. We just couldn't really break Villa down. They slowing the game down. But second half, we come flying out the blocks, didn't we? And I keep saying, mate. Teams are going to get absolutely pumped by us, mate. And I keep saying this, mate.
There's a little geezer in the corner now doing sign language so we can understand what Matt's talking about. He needs to go fucking deaf.
But I tell you what, like I watched it on the box. I watched it with my brother-in-law. Went in the pub, and I thought at first I was like, if it's the pub, the volume and stuff like that, commentary was like really clear. But I was like, I can't hear anyone, and I was like, is it that quiet there? Is it like, did it feel a little bit subdued? And then I definitely heard that smattering of booze at half time. Like, what was the first half mood like? Because it clearly changed in the second half.
Is that for me, Lee?
Yeah.
I think everyone just went in a bit edgy into the ground, a bit edgy. I'm not really a fan of Sunday 2:00 kickoffs. I always think of Sunday 4:30 kickoff is a much better atmosphere on TV, you know. But no, I think everyone just went in a little bit nervy, not kind of knowing what to expect, the inconsistency of us. No one's realising what's going to happen. But like I keep saying, mate, at home, I fancy us against anyone. But I was expecting the atmosphere to be better in the first half, especially after the Man City win.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We can talk about that as well going across this episode. But I think for us, it's almost like at the moment, TJ, we have to go behind to sort of wake up, and then we absolutely blitz teams. How did you see the game watching it at home?
Honestly, it's one of the first games this season where obviously normally I'm in the ground, so I'm kind of watching it watching it from my viewpoint in the ground. But I genuinely sat down and watched it sober, like the whole thing, the whole way through. Like really enjoyed it. We dominated possession, and I think this is the story of our season. Like we just dominate possession, but then we don't create at the top. We're a bit too slow, a bit tippy tappy, and it's been the story of the past couple of years, I think. But listen, like, I don't know what it is. It's like sometimes that going that 1-0 down kind of wakes them up a bit and says, right, we need to fucking kick on now. And I think there's a stat running around at the moment that we've taken 24 points from losing positions
already this season,
which is insane.
Or
no, from this calendar year.
Over 2 years, isn't it?
Wow.
Over 2 years. I thought it was this calendar year.
2 years.
Oh, okay, maybe it's 2 years. All right, mate, it's not as impressive then. But still, I mean,
still
that's
quite
still
strong,
10,
to be fair.
It's still 10 more than anybody else, by the way. Like, so
wow.
even City's only 14. So we've taken 24 points from losing positions. And what I think that highlights more than anything is Ange's philosophy. I think that and even when that game we played against Chelsea when we went down to 9 men last season, which funny enough was at this time last season, we just kept going, and you can see that that's the philosophy that he's trying to drill into the team. And when it comes off, like this week, like West Ham, I mean, even I actually thought we played slightly different against City midweek in the cup, but you can just see that when they get it going and when it's on point, you can't play Spurs. Like you literally, we're unplayable like that. No one can stop us. Like the way they move them balls down the wings and cut them back in really quickly. I mean, the Solanke's first goal, I'm sure we'll get onto him, was incredible. But yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's almost like going 1-0 down kind of switches the on button for let's play properly now and let's get it done. And fuck me, like they really can play when they turn it on.
It's fantastic. And that's the great thing about it. When it turns on, that's the whole thing. And I guess then, Matt, from your point of view, what will sort of be forgotten in some ways is that we conceded from a set piece again. And I think it is something we have to address because we saw it on Wednesday night with a corner where Vicario was at 6s and 7s. Now, I love this keeper. I think he's great. I think he's got leadership qualities. He's a great shot stopper. He's a passion for the team. You see that when he runs down the tunnel, he's celebrating. He was only probably the one player that really went nuts after beating City when I saw the tunnel cam. But we are very vulnerable and it might get under the carpet, but we conceded from a set piece again. How did you feel about it, Matt?
I get it. Like, we're weak. We're weak when it comes to corners. I think the Man City one works well, but even attacking corners, we're just as vulnerable as we are defending corners. We don't ever look like we're going to score from an attacking corner, do we? But I think we worked it out second half. You see Radu and Onana in the second half, and he took him away from the goalkeeper. I don't know why we just allow players to just block off Vicario. We know the ref's not going to give a free kick. We know he's not going to give it. So it just keeps happening, and we just keep allowing it to happen. But we're too nice of a club to do that down the other end. We're too nice. We don't do it.
And that's the thing. We have to, as Mourinho said once before, we have to be CUNTs because like other teams will do it against us. I think, as I say, I didn't look at that game before that set piece and go, oh, you know, I'm finding this hard. I felt that they've done what they do. They're a good side. We can't forget, like they're already showing this season that they're a top quality side. They've beaten top quality. They haven't lost a game in Europe, beaten Bayern Munich in one of those. So they're clearly a match. And we beat them 4-0 in March before the sort of rot came in for that last couple of months of the season. But we go back out there after half time and straight away we're on it with Brennan Johnson. As Richard Bicknell says, the goal was so good. And from that, he needs to learn to play like that more consistently. I feel he's been fantastic this season. There are moments when he's not on the ball at the time, but I think that can be said a lot about the team. A lot of people in the chat, Nat, Miles and Maisie, Ashrock, Jossie Kellum, Seaborn Craig, Brett Dudley, Tim Thomas, everyone's giving quite nice praise. EHN9 says Sarr had an absolute worldie today, but to start at that sort of start the second half, TJ, we did come out. Brennan was a lot more sharper and Sarr was a lot more sharper. What did you think of like how we sort of applied ourselves from the get-go in the second half?
I think he tweaked it tactically. I think he said, we need to push on a lot more than we were because I don't think players were pushing on too far forward. And I think you saw that. And then Sarr's average position in the second half was a lot higher up the pitch. And you could see that they were hunting. Listen, the press, even in the first half, I thought was great, by the way. Like we were pressing them on their box. And that for me is the Ange philosophy in action. But yeah, listen, I thought that the press was great. And I thought something like they touched a little bit on it on Match of the Day about the width that we were playing. Like they said that we started playing wider in the second half.
Nice.
And I think Danny Murphy done a really good tactics board on that. And he showed everyone like how we basically stretched their defense and opened them up a bit. But I genuinely think there's some players there that kind of have gone under the radar because of the goal scorers in that game. And Sarr is 100% one of them. I think Kulusevski as well. Like he's been the player of the season. I think the creativity that he's bringing and he drives the ball forward. And yeah, I think them two, especially Sarr and Kulusevski in midfield in the second half, especially, was something else. Yeah,
what opinions on Radu yesterday, stepping in for Van der Ven yesterday? I thought
I
he had a
thought-
solid game.
I thought it was probably his best game for us that he's played so far. I think he looked a lot more assured. He was cutting stuff out. He looks a little bit more head. I can't think of my words today. Like he was a little bit more headstrong than Romero. You know, Romero was kind of a bit. I was sitting there watching him a couple of times. Like, he's going to get fucking sent off here and cost us this. So I thought Radu was really measured and tactically aware of where his position would be, which is something that I thought he lacked in previous games. But yeah, listen, I thought all round like the boys had a really good game. I don't sit here and think I could pick anyone out. I think, like I say, defensively from set pieces, that's something that's been an issue at Spurs for a while, and they need to work on that. But yeah, sorry, listen, I just want to touch on Johnson because I know you mentioned him. Like, for me at the moment, he is bringing in Sonny vibes, like early days Sonny vibes. That's kind of how I'm looking at him at the moment. Whenever that boy gets through on goal, I think he's going to score. Like he's probably one of the best at shooting at the moment in our team. Like, and he just shows you what confidence can do to a player. And this is the stuff we talk about, like Timo Werner. You know, like he's been off the boil. Like he gets in front of goal and he's got no confidence. He ends up passing it to the keeper. And on the other side of things, you've got Johnson, who's literally like you whatever he's got, you could bottle it and sell it for a fortune at the moment. The confidence is oozing off this kid, and he's just, for me, the way he's just like he's so forward thinking, and it does remind me of Sonny like 5 years ago. It really does. Like you see him get the ball and he runs at players and he's trying to get in the box on the back of crosses. I think he's fantastic. But I've always said it about Johnson. I didn't know much about him when he played for Forest. I wasn't really following him that much, to be honest. So when he come over, I was a bit like, let's see what he's about. But he didn't look like much. And then all of a sudden, bang! Like, I was like, do you know what? This kid's got potential. He's got that attack mindset, and it's everything that you want in a Spurs player. But yeah, listen. On the whole, I thought most of the boys had a really good game. I think the criticism that Spurs got in the first half wasn't really founded either. I thought we played really well.
I agree.
I thought we played a high press. We possession football. The only thing is that we weren't really creating. Again, it's that thing where we don't move it quick enough. Yeah. We don't stretch the game enough, and we don't create. So then automatically you're like, and this is the one negative I'll say about the performance, is that, and not just this performance, but all performances Spurs have, is I always feel like we're gonna concede. I never feel confident in shutting a game out, like shutting a team out. I don't know if it's something to do with the back line. I don't know. It's just, for me, there's just something in me. Maybe it's just me as a Spurs fan, but that tells me the other team can score. We need a 2-goal cushion, and fucking even that sometimes ain't enough. But other than that, I think they've been emphatic in recent games. Absolutely emphatic.
That's the thing. I think it is going to be that. And I think it's kind of something that we've discussed even from last year. What I'm seeing this year, and obviously we are the highest scorers in the league, ladies and gents. We're the highest scorers in the league. We've got the third best defense in the league, right? I know we're recording this as the Monday Night Football game's on, but I saw a bit of the pre-match, Berbatov's in the studio. And, you know, when they do the XG chances, XG created and stuff like that. Again, we're in the top 3, 4 with that. I mean, there is a lot of positives here. I do think, there are going to be games when it's a goal conceded, 2 goals conceded. But I'm always like, especially at home at the moment, I'm always feeling like we can get 3 or 4 because in 3 home games this season, we have got 4: Everton, West Ham, and Villa. So we're looking really, really good. And we've got a striker, Matt, in Solanke, who we're loving what he does off the ball. And then yesterday, he goes and puts on 2 finishes that exemplify him as a striker. A lovely little finish with a dink over the goalie. And then the first one, and then right place, right time on Richarlison's square pass. What did you think of Solanke?
Mate, I think we've all backed Solanke in this, haven't we? I know people sit there and say, well, he's not scoring. You have to watch Solanke week in, week out to understand what he's actually doing. He's involved in absolutely everything. His press. I don't know how that geezer sprints so much in 90 minutes. Well, let's say 98 minutes now, 99 minutes per game, yeah? The geezer doesn't stop, mate. He's unreal.
Hey, it's
I
crazy.
think he definitely helped us, definitely this season with the press. Like last season when we were doing it with Richie and Sonny, it's nowhere near to how we're doing it now. But also I felt yesterday, second half, Basuma coming on. He helped steady the ship yesterday in midfield, and he allowed Papasar and Kulu to play further forward with Sonny and Johnson. Well, Sonny went off, but I thought Basuma steadied the ship yesterday, and I thought Basuma was brilliant as well.
So I thought he had
What's
a quiet game,
interesting,
Basuma. I actually thought of all the players on the pitch, he's probably one of the quieter ones. Had a bit of a quiet game.
I think he did. It did steady the ship a bit, like Matty said, but it was the little things that he did, probably just off the ball, just making sure others could go in and play. But again, when we press from the front, as you say, I just looked at a stat today. Again, we are now in the age of stats coming in every little way, but they are great talking points, and they do say a lot about somebody's game that you may not recognize when you're just watching a game, whether it's on the telly, whether it's kind of enthusiasm in the ground and the atmosphere that soaks you up. You don't always see these little things, but the most pressures in the final third this Premier League season, 240 by Dominic Solanke. Any other player is less than 175. So he's had over 65 more pressures in the final third than any other player. And he's got 4 goals in 8. That's 1 every 2 games. If he carries on with that, he'd end up with 19 goals. I mean, we've got a player here. We have got a player, and that's fantastic.
We got him half price, didn't we, boys? We got him half price.
That's it, yeah. But I guess, that's the great thing about that. And then I go back because, we took Son off. Ange took Son off, TJ, early on, 55 minutes. He said the reason why. He said, look, we played him for 60 the last time he got injured, so it was always going to be 55 because we'd rather have someone ready to go, next week and the week after that than get him for this game and then he's out for another 4 weeks. How did you feel when Ange made that substitution and yeah, was you comfortable and was you ready to question the manager anyway?
So yes, I was ready to question the manager. I think the geezer's just put in probably the best ball assist he's done all year. I thought he actually had a great game, Sonny. I thought he was playing really well as well. So to take him off, I was like, why would you do that? Like, we're in the ascendancy. We're not winning at this point. It's 1-1. So I'm like, we're in the ascendancy. Why would you change it at this point? But I think this is something that Ange needs to take credit for as well. Is he does focus on having players available, and he said it in his post match as well. He was like, he was never playing more than 60. Thinking what, you can see that whatever the score was, he's not playing more than 60. He's just trying to get him back into the team. He done the same with Richarlison. Richarlison could have come back early, and he didn't. He left him out longer so that he got more time to heal and try and break the cycle. I mean, lo and behold, he goes and gets injured again. It looks like it's going to be out for a while again. Right. But I think the way Ange plays demands a lot of players, both in training and in match. So I think the toll it takes on players over a season is significant. So I think he has it in his head that he needs to manage game time for players as well, which not a lot of managers do. They're just like, this is our best 11. This is who we're going to play in the Premier League every week if we can. Whereas he's got it in his head like, I'm going to manage these players because I know I'm going to need them in other games, and I don't want them being out for 3 or 4. Like Van der Ven's now, he's missing a couple of games now for the same reason, right? Thankfully, it's not as bad as it was. But look, like Emilio Gaskins just said there, like he's not scared to change it, and it paid dividends. If the problem is if that goes the other way, Spurs fans are then going, "What the fuck was he doing taking Son off?"
Yeah.
So the fact that it went in his favour is it just makes him look even better. But that could easily have gone the other way. So I don't necessarily think that change was the right thing to do. Would it have changed the outcome? I don't think so. I think at that point we were in the ascendancy, and the players that came in picked up where Sonny left off. So in that sense, it worked. But if the players who come on then underperform, no offense, because he scored a great goal against City midweek. But if Werner comes on in that position and then doesn't do the job that Richarlison was doing, then we start questioning. We're like, why has he made that change? But it's worked.
But the beautiful,
once again, this is why I'm not a Premier League manager, right? I like to think I know it all, but fucking don't.
Boys, I'm just with whatever Ange chooses, mate. I'm fully behind it, mate. No matter what the decision, mate. I literally just trust that geezer so much.
I agree. And a lot of people, thanks for if you're listening to us on our normal platforms, but if you're watching live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Chris Palmer, Brett Dudley, Andy Sava, George Ladd, as we just had there, Emilio Gaskin, who said he's not scared to change it. And I love that. We need that. And another part of that, Matty, I'll talk about is James Maddison. He was on the bench against City, which I don't remember. He didn't come on, if I'm right. He didn't come on against City, did he? He didn't come on. No, he didn't.
No,
I'm sure he didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No. And then even at 1-0 down, he didn't bring him on. He's looked at how we've set up. He's looked at if we're giving away too much space. I think he's seen that Sarah's got an engine, a work engine that we saw last season, which was incredible. He just had to add a bit more to his game. Sarah was probably by far the best player on the pitch the other night. Fantastic again yesterday. Like with someone like Maddison, has that gone down with you? I know you're saying you're with Matt Andrew all the way, but he comes on, he scores an unbelievable free kick. He's 50th in the Prem. How did you sort of take all that in and think about Maddison from 0 in minutes played and he's not starting to coming on in the last quarter and scoring a worldie of a free kick?
Listen, when you beat Man City 2-1 and you go and thump Villa 4-1, it's the right call, no? It's the right call.
Yeah.
But Ipswich, he will start Maddison and Kulu because we have to go at Ipswich from the first whistle. We can't allow them to potentially go 1-0 up or have the low block. We're going to go at them. So I do think having this squad is massive for us. Like Bentancur, he's been in and out of the team. I thought he's been all right, And I think now against, for instance, Ipswich next week, we go Basuma with Kulu and Maddison. Or he might play Papasar in the week, or he goes Papasar, But do you know what? The squad we have now is much stronger to what we've had over the years. And if Maddison's on the bench and he has to come on last half hour and change the game, so be it. But I do believe that did go through Angie's mind at half time yesterday. Do I bring Maddison on now? But then I thought, no, let me give it 10 minutes. And we scored within that 10 minutes. So, what he done, mate, you can't blame the geezer for keeping Maddison sub.
No, he did. And that's it. I mean, I saw at the end when Andrew went up to him and sort of gave him an arm around his shoulder, give him a hug, sort of slapped him on the face, said, well done, son. He looked a bit pissed off, Maddison, but you'd expect that. Every player wants to play in the Prem. He's gone through the ups and downs after being injured and starting the season so well. Got injured last season and never really came back, lost his place in the England squad for the Euros. So he's obviously wanting to get back. But like Emilio Gaskin says, again, another good comment. He says he's good to keep Madders hungry. He came on, wanted to prove a point, and that was exactly what we needed. And Brett Dudley said Madders normally tries to protect Vicario on corners, but yesterday obviously wasn't there for a lot of the game. He had no one. So he does play a big role in this, and there are going to be times when he's going to start. I mean, I'll be very, very, I'll be very surprised if he doesn't start against Galatasaray on Thursday away, which is no mean feat, and we'll get onto that. But going back to, our defence, TJ, we lost Romero in the week, started again, but then went off. Lost Van der Ven now. We've lost him until after the international break. We ended with Dragusin, who, as you said, probably his best game, but also Ben Davies, who won a tackle, started off the goal movement. As much as we say about Davies, and last year when he had to come in, because it was this very, very night last year that it all crumbled apart. The Monday night football, the first one in November when we lost to Chelsea. Davies came in with Dyer against Wolves the next game, and everyone's like, oh, fuck's sake. And it all seems to patter out there. But he's dependable, right? And we're going to have to rely on him. And how do you feel about Davies? How do you think about him yesterday? And how you feel about him going forward?
Again, I like reliable. Davies. Exactly. He's just Mr. Consistent, right? He's he can come in and he can play left back, he can play centre back. But is he going to displace the current two players that play there every week, or even the two in the middle, and the left back? It's not going to happen. He's just for what Ange wants and for what he's looking for, we have the personnel on the pitch. So the only way he gets into that team is if there's an injury or a suspension,
of course,
which surprisingly comes quite fucking often.
Yeah, are you confident though now? Because we are going to have to. Our centre-back partnership for Ipswich is going to have to be more than likely Dragusin and Davis, right? It has to be, surely.
No, so
who?
Curry would be fit for Ipswich.
Nah.
Will he? I don't know. I don't know.
You will.
Nah, I think they're saving for after the international break. I think they'll save both of them. And they both won't go to their teams either, Van der Ven or Romero. But
Hope not.
I think
I see Cutie starting against Ipswich, boys.
I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised. Maybe he just done it so he misses the trip to Turkey. I don't know, but I personally think if this was after the international break, you don't know what fancies going over there, do they? Like midweek fucking Galatasaray. Like I know a lot of boys going out there, but fuck that. Honestly, I've done it before. I've been in Turkey and it's ag. But anyway, listen. So I personally think if this was the other side of the international break and this was City away, that's who we play after the international break, then I'd be fucking worried, big time. But it's Ipswich at home, and this is no disrespect to Ipswich, but I mean definitely no disrespect because Palace fucking couldn't buy a win either, and they done us. But I feel like at home we could put out. We don't necessarily need our best centre backs in the system that we play at home to beat lower half, like the bottom third of the table opposition. In my opinion, I feel like at home we should be able to put any player in our squad on that pitch and beat a team in the bottom 6, 7. My opinion, and a lot of people in the comments will disagree with what I just said.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a point there, but the truth in it all is that we are going to rely on them. Matty says that he reckons Kuti could be back. I don't really know. Have you heard anything then about it? I know there's soreness in his foot, but what do you hear, Matty? Or
well, Andrew's come out and said he's a tough cookie, isn't he? And I'm sure he'll be back playing in no time.
Yeah, well, let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so because, and Emilio Gaskins made some great points tonight. One of the followers watching on Facebook said, Davies 6 out of 10 every time. Europe matches keeping him match sharp, quality squad player with a wise old head, proper Spurs. And I think that's exactly what Ange thinks about him. And now we'll sort of look on to Galatasaray and Ipswich. But before we do that, lads, TJ, I'll start with you. Man of the match. Who was yours?
For me, it's got to be one of the two centre attacking midfielders. They both played really good. I'm going to probably, on this case, just because Kulu's doing it every week at the moment, I'm probably going to give it to Sarr because I thought he had an exceptional game. I thought his high press and his forward play again was incredible. But equally, Kulu could have got it for me. Listen, it says something that when your striker gets 2 goals and you don't pick him for the man of the match, how good the performance was as a whole as a team. But for me, I think Sarr in the second half when he came on was unreal.
Matty, what do you reckon?
Yeah, you know what? I probably like TJ saying here, you probably would give it to Solanke. He scored 2 goals, he played well. However, he's been in and out of the squad this season, and I thought he put an absolute monster performance in yesterday, and I think Papa Sarr all day.
Yeah, nice to hear. I will go for Solanke because I think he deserves. I loved Sarr, by the way, and I'm just doing it probably to be different. But Solanke, he gets it just because I'm really happy for him to get the 2 goals because, as we say, going to the games, we've seen it, watching him as a fan. Who loves your club and sees the little things that you wouldn't see if you don't support a team. You've seen how hard he's working. And I don't think he's just rewards from the wider football community, if I'm being honest. So I think because of the goals, the way he works, the pressing, I'm going to give it to Solanke. But on the reverse of that, and is there one, TJ, Dick of the Day? What would you say? Harsh one, but would there be one?
It is harsh. I think Vicario needs to be better. I'm being fucking harsh here, by the way, because I thought we had a great performance. But to find it's not even a dick of the day, it's a dick moment. I think Vicario needs to be stronger in corners, or at least call on his players to defend him better. There needs to be someone talking when we're having them set pieces, because they float that ball in on the anywhere in between the 6 yard and the goal line, and it's going in. Like there's no real commitment from the keeper to winning the ball. I don't think he commits enough to win balls in corners and crosses. I'm being harsh, very harsh, because I actually think Vicario had a good game other than that. I mean, he didn't have to do fucking much, to be honest. But yeah, that's a very harsh dick of the day, Vicario in the corner.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Matty, would you see any different? Was anything that you went, oh yeah, that's not for me?
I do, mate. And it's my man Richie, mate. Been waiting
Oh.
so long for him to come back from injury. He puts one sprint in, but it's in a good way. This is the good dick of the day. Puts one sprint in, puts a lovely cross in for Langley to score, and he tweaks his hamstring again. Now he's gone again.
Oh.
You're gonna like, but it's in a good way. But you have to give it to my boy Richie.
Yeah, fair enough.
He just wants to talk about Richarlison. He fucking loves Richarlison. Any excuse to talk about him.
What about you, Lee? What about you?
Do you know what? I reckon I'd go with TJ and Vicario. I just think I want, out of everything in his game, the one thing I really wanted to is just that idea of leadership and confidence. He flaps at things. I'll give him the dick of the day for the City game. I know we sort of gone in and talked about it a little bit, but I think, yeah, because of Villa and because of the City where he flapped and I was like, oh my God. And then there was the chance they had, amazing block off the line. I was just like, yeah, I just need him to feel confident because I didn't see that. The first time it happened was in the game against, what was the game? Was it Wolves where he first... Oh no, it was Everton. It was the first time. No, but the Everton game when Maddison come back and we started really well and we conceded in the last minute of the game and he just flapped that whole game. And that was what, since then it all just like the pattern became a thing. Before that, I didn't notice it as much. But yeah,
I felt it was the Man City in the FA Cup game. That from that point, Man City exposed us. Man City exposed us. Had to play corners against us. And since that game, everyone does it. Everyone.
You know what I will say about Vicario though, yeah? He is like a better version of Lloris in certain aspects, yeah? So like Lloris was a great shot stopper. I think Vicario is a fantastic shot stopper. I think he's so good. But also Vicario's got good distribution as well. Like he can actually play out from the back. He does get they do get caught spurs sometimes from a higher press. But at least we've got a keeper now that can use his feet. But the one thing he hasn't got is that strength and commitment to winning a ball. Like I always feel like he's got a bit of fear in him going for them balls, and he just ain't strong enough. You know, he needs to be able to shrug players off if you're a keeper and get involved.
Hopefully that comes, but that's the thing. We do miss that. Richard Bicknell, Romero was his pick for Dick of the Day. Yellow, stupid, and injury challenge was also silly. I can't argue with that. But he also said Richard comes on his champagne moment, which I'll come to you all. And I don't know. I'm sure I'll go with Solanke. Richard was like the champagne moment. He's not going to choose that obvious Solanke finish. He'll go for Son's assist. So good and a goal contribution from Spurs' most important player. Very interesting, Richard, there. TJ, would you agree? Well, Solanke, your moment? I mean, it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is hard because for me, there's three, literally three, yeah? And I'll give you them in my order. So third to first. So third for me is Maddison's free kick. I don't remember the last time Spurs scored from a direct free kick. Like there was a joke in one of our chats that it was Swansea back when Ericsson was playing and we beat him 3-1.
Oh God, that last minute.
Like, I mean, to be fair, I can't think of one since. Someone's definitely going to correct me in the chats. But the second one was the Son assist as well. I thought that there you cannot get any better. When I used to coach, I used to call them defenders' nightmares. I was like, boys, drive to the line, cut the ball straight across, and it's a defender's nightmare because they're all running back to goal. And they you just put it on a plate. All it needs is a touch, and it goes in. So yeah, that was a perfect ball, and he whipped that as well. By the way, that weren't even cutting across. That was whipped from going forward. But yeah, for me, the 1-2 touch football, and then Solanke's finish, the audacity to literally chip it over. That's a World Cup winning fucking goalkeeper, by the way. Chip it over him, and. Mate, yeah, it was absolute class. So yeah, it is the obvious one, but it is the best. Like just for the build-up play and then the finish as well. Unreal.
Big time, Matty. Where you going?
Gonna go Sonny's cross, mate. I thought it was world class, mate. And it was 1-0 down at that time, and it was such a key moment in the game, and that's what lifted the crowd straight away. You know, so I feel like Sonny's cross was the champagne moment.
Nice. And you would agree with Richard Bicknell there in the chat. We've got D-Pat, THFC46, Robbie Harnett, Albie Johnson, Teddy Richardson, Carly Emma, Jodie Fun, loads of people across the different platforms. Again, if you listen to us on the Spotify, on Amazon, on Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, if you listen to us in a podcast form, we do go live on a Monday night across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can get involved, like people like James Coop, Emilio Gaskin, Richard Bicknell, so many people again on the Instagram across the platforms. It's great to have you. So please, if you don't want to just listen to us on a demand, you can come and watch us live. We are on everywhere, and we'll try and get on TikTok at one point as well. But yeah, great result. We exactly what we needed. What a week. We beat City and we went there slightly backs to the walls at time, but we went out there and we were so efficient going forward. We could have had 4 or 5 in that game, but it was a great win. And now we look on to another.
Fear anyone at home. I don't fear anyone at home.
Not at all.
I know.
But that's
as soon as we got a home draw in the cup, it come out Spurs first. I went, yep, anyone. Pick anyone you want to put there now. I don't care. We're playing more.
And we've got United. Obviously, there'll be a very different looking United team. I'm sure by December the 18th, I reckon the game will be on, because obviously new manager coming in after the international break. But now we are looking on to another week. Ipswich at home. If it was on your last man standing team, last team standing, if it was in your ACCA, it's almost like the sure bet, the dead rubber, which is a worry. But we've got to get the job done. And we are possibly doing that without our first choice defenders. We definitely know Van der Ven's out. It could be that Romero's out. Fingers crossed he's back. But with that in mind, how do you see this game going, Matt? Against Ipswich, do you think that we've got enough to beat them?
3-0 Spurs.
3-0 Spurs. Yeah, I like it. No conceding.
They're a championship team, Leicester, though. Ipswich. They are a championship team that have just come up, and they're going to struggle this season. And I honestly do see about 3-0 Spurs.
But they won at the weekend. They picked up a couple of results, didn't they? They beat Everton. Oh, did they draw?
They drew.
Oh,
they drew. Yeah, they won a game this year. Same as fucking Palace.
Oh, right.
The difference is it's at our ground this time. If it was down Portman Road, I'd be fucking worried at the moment.
I mean, T, you said that you don't fear us anyone at home. Is it 3-0, 4-0? What are you thinking?
Yeah, mate. Cricket score. Confident. Nah, that's bad, isn't it? I genuinely think they might get one, but I feel like this would be similar to what was the second game? Was it Everton? The second game. Who did we play second game? Team smashed them like 4-0.
Everton.
Yeah, that was the first home game. Yeah, Everton.
I feel like it will be like that. I do. I don't honestly. On the back of what's been happening, like the Palace result, the Brighton result. These are bad results for Spurs, but we just need a bit of consistency. And I'll be honest with you, it's Galatasaray Thursday, whatever. It's. Like, I think a lot of Spurs fans want to win that game, but just to get the points on the board. But realistically, if we got a draw in that game, I don't think many people would be too worried, because we're halfway there in terms of qualification.
Yeah.
I think we need 3 points and we've qualified, and then we needed 6 points and we've guaranteed the top 8. So, we've done a lot of the work already early in the Europa League phase. So that side of things, I think a lot of people won't really have one. I'm hoping Ange's kind of like, this is the game where we can probably play second string, like most of second string. If he's going to make wholesale changes, Galatasaray away. But I think Ipswich. Yeah, 100%. And I think Ipswich is probably the perfect game to come after the games we've had. City in the League Cup, Villa at the weekend, and then we're going into the international break with 2 more games to come this week. Ipswich at home. Sorry, it's probably the best game we could have got in terms of getting consistency going into the international break. Because lo and behold, it's fucking City away when we come back.
Well, yeah, that's not going to be easy. But I guess then, with that in mind, we do, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game in our favour against Ipswich. But we can't forget that it is Galatasaray, and it's Galatasaray away. We can't forget that we haven't got centre-halves, first-choice centre-halves, to come back at Ipswich. So the 2 that are going to have to play are probably the 2 that's got to play against Ipswich. Matty, where else do you see changes? Obviously, we can think about the goalkeeper, but how much do you think we should change? Because TJ's saying wholesale. Do you want to get the job done there? Can we afford to lose? Is it a game where you're sort of going to sit back and relax a little bit? How you seeing this game?
Mate, I think we go there Do you know what? Pedro Porro coming for Archie Gray probably. We'll probably have Forster coming goal, if I'm honest. Madison are coming for probably Kulu. You probably have Werner. I don't know if they start Mikey Moore in an intimidating stadium like that. Maybe Bergvall. I'd like to see Bergvall. Do you know what it is though, guys? I'd love a draw there, but I do see Spurs losing there because we are going to make changes. And I'm happy for them changes to be made because we've still got another 4 games after that, you know, and we're not going to be going to places like Galatasaray away. We're only going to like Hoffenheim away. We've got Roma at home, you know, so our fancy is to win the rest of our games anyway, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we can afford this slip up at Galatasaray, rest players, and get them 3 points for against Ipswich on the board, and we move into the international break.
Yeah, TJ, are you happy with that? I mean, it's a weird one because we got maximum points in the first 3 games. Could you play 8 games as well? I feel like a loss, you know, in an intimidating ground, and being able to rest players with some of our players that even if you didn't rest them, you want them to be fit, and they're not, in terms of Van der Ven, Romero. Like, yeah, feet up Thursday for you. Not worry too much about it with a wholesale change, as you say.
Yeah, listen. Equally, it would be nice to get the 3 points and have the job done. If this was Galatasaray at home, I'd have a different viewpoint. But the fact we're going away, the fact we've got another big game in the Premier League. Listen, this is another thing that we haven't touched on, but we're playing Ipswich this weekend at home. A lot of the teams above us are playing each other. So the teams above us are going to drop points either way because they're all playing each other. So this is a good chance for us to go into the international break, potentially in touch or even in the top 4. So, you know, that psychologically sitting in the top 4 for the next couple of weeks is important. And listen, there's no way he's going to Turkey to lose this game or not care about it. He wants to get a job done over there. He wants to make a statement. Galatasaray are one of the better teams in the tournament. Let's be fair. Like their atmosphere is like having another player on the pitch. Like I've done Besiktas away in fucking 2014 or something in the Europa League. They played at the Ataturk Stadium. The lights went out. It was fucking mental atmosphere, crazy. Like honestly, it was crazy. There's only about 1,000 Spurs over there, but they love football over there. Like it's like religion for them. So they're gonna want to get a win over an English club. Like for them, it's like the pinnacle. Beating English teams is like the pinnacle for them. So yeah, listen, they're going to be well up for it. It's just whether we are the same. But I think we can get a win out there. Like, I don't see any reason why we couldn't. But I think he'll rotate enough that it will make the game a lot more difficult, and their atmosphere will bring that as well. You watch. You'll turn the screen on Thursday, and there'll be fucking red flares, smoke everywhere. Players all fucking painted their face like they're going to tribal war. Honestly, they're nutters over there. They love it.
It's a way to intimidate, right? It's a way to get the owner, like you say.
I've ticked Turkey off. So yeah.
The most important thing with Thursday is to come out with no other injuries.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
100%. Absolutely. But yeah, listen, I think he'll rotate enough where the team's presentable, and a draw would be a good result, in my opinion. But obviously, we want the win. We want the fucking win. But
you want to keep the momentum. Yeah, 100%. And so it's going to be an interesting week. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to analysing it next week. Looking at last weekend for some of our other teams. The under-18s didn't play. Their next game is on the 9th of November. So they didn't play. But our under-21s did. And it wasn't good. We lost 4-1 last week to Reading. We lost 5-1 this week to Crystal Palace. So we are not having a good time in a tournament that last year we won. Like it's not going well at all.
When they played Ebbsfleet, though, was that recently?
What, the under-21 team?
Yeah, so we're in another cup called the National League Cup, and you play four teams from the National League away, and we're top of our table. We're top of our table in that group.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to have. Oh, yeah, let me look.
Have a look, mate. It's quite an interesting tournament. It's similar to the EFL Trophy, where academy teams are invited, But instead of playing League One and League Two, you play National League teams. So there's 16 National League teams, 16 under-21 teams, and they get split into groups, and then it's 4 in one, 4 in the other, and the academy teams all play the National League teams, and then the top 2 qualify for a knockout stage, quarterfinals. Spurs have got 2 draws against National League teams, and we've won both on penalties. And the keeper had a blinder. So for those of you that are interested in the academy stuff and the reserve teams, have a look at the highlights from the Spurs Ebbsfleet game, because there's a couple of names in there that look pretty tasty. And the keeper had a blinder on the penalties. He saved like 5 of them. It's crazy.
Oh wow!
It went into
right, yeah, I have to look at that.
But, so that's. I'll make you right. The PL2 we've been really underperforming, but in the cup competitions, I think they play tomorrow as well against Swindon.
They do. That's
in the
right.
EFL and we've got a chance of qualifying for the next round of that as well. So the cups, they're doing all right, the under-21s, but yeah, they're letting themselves down in the league. The same with the under-18s, I think.
It's not going well. We've got Swindon away. We have to win that game, to be fair, because Exeter has sort of stormed it, and it's out of us and Swindon tomorrow who go through. So let's hope for that, and it sort of steamrolls. I guess we've moved some players up into the first team sort of set up, so it never helps. But from a women's point of view, yesterday was at Brisbane Road. We got a win against West Ham, which is always lovely. They went 1-0 up in the first half. Then Beth England scored at the start of the second half in the 51st minute, and then a 92nd minute own goal by Camilla Sayers for West Ham. Obviously for Tottenham, again for a West Ham player, we won the game 2-1. So nice for the women to get a win under their belt. They're 7th in the table after 6 games, 1-2, drawn 1. Lost 3, and it's Man City and Arsenal next for them. Don't forget the North London derby is on the is it on the Saturday, isn't it? 16th of November. Oh, is it moved to a Sunday?
Sunday?
I don't know. I'll have a look.
During the international break, isn't it? It's that weekend.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it is at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So,
and you boys going to that?
I'm not. I'm away at a wedding. Mate's getting married. I'm actually in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm away as well. I can't make it. Can't make that one.
Oh yeah, of course you are.
But no, it's good for them. So let's hope. I definitely want to see more games at the stadium. I know there's a lot of different reasons why they can't do it all the time. But 7th in the Women's Super League is not too bad, and there's obviously a lot of games to go. And the Arsenal one, if you can get down there, get down and support them because they are great.
And you boys next Sunday?
No, I can't make it as well. Are you mugging me off on here? You're trying to fucking say that?
No. I didn't know if you was going down there. I didn't know if you was.
The thing is, because I play football on a Sunday morning, it's getting out of Hackney and down that A406 is an absolute nightmare. It's just like, I like the whole match day experience. I love the match day experience. I've really enjoyed it. So since we've been doing the podcast and like really immersing myself in it, I want to be there pre and post and really immerse myself in the pubs and the stadium. And when I can't do that, and like this was going to be like leaving Hackney Marshall at 12:30, getting changed, rushing down, it just didn't feel like it because it's 2:00. 4:30 I would have done it.
My Hackney Marshall is Sunday morning. I think I've got a 9:15 kickoff. Not me, old peg leg here, mate, but my under 12s. I'm over there for a quarter.
Oh, mate, bring your kit. You can come play for my team at 10:30.
How is your knee these days? Still oiling it up and all that? Like, is that the fucking
everywhere, mate? Loads of deep beaten bandages, man.
I say that. There's me sitting here with my leg up now because I've got fucking gat and I can't feel it.
Oh, mate. But, to end, we did a quiz last week. I think Kev won it 1-0, didn't he, in the quiz? This quiz, there's going to be 5 questions. And we're getting to the end of the year. So we're going to look at the start of the year, the start of 2024. And each question is going to be from one of the months of the first 5 months. So I'll ask you a question.
TJ's a nerd, man. TJ's a nerd.
Mastermind.
I beat Kevin all these
right.
Year,
He did. He was well ahead. So we'll start with this, and I'll ask the question, and then I'll take turns. I'll start with you, TJ, this time, and then I'll reverse it on the next one. And if you're in the live chats, or if you're listening, get in touch if you can, and we'd love to see who is a mastermind out there, like TJ was last season.
But get a buzzer. I've got to make my own buzzer, like a weird noise.
No buzzer. I'll ask you one at a time, but I'll start with you. January, 3 goals in a storming 8-minute spell saw us beat Brentford at home 3-2 on the 31st of January. Other than Richarlison and Brennan Johnson, who was on the score sheet that night?
I don't know it.
3-2. We beat Brentford in January.
I remember.
Richarlison
I've got one.
scored. Johnson
remember it.
scored. Who else scored, ladies and gents?
Are you going to
Porro.
come back to him?
Who's Porro?
Yeah.
You said
Is it
Porro,
Porro?
Matty? I'll let you
Ndogi.
know after.
Ndogi.
James Coop says son on the YouTube. I can tell you one of you is right, and it is Matt. It was Destiny Udogie.
Because I
who
remember
scored.
he done the pass back and he gave them the goal and he made up for it by scoring at the other end.
Yeah.
Matt, by the way,
go.
Matt has got really good in-game knowledge. He'll talk about games from 6 years ago and remember moments like really well. He's good at that.
That's the best bit, yeah. Well, let's see if he knows this one, because I'll start with you this time, Matt. In February, another one of our famous late shows completed another comeback at home when Brennan Johnson slotted home against Brighton. That was on the 10th of February. But can you remember who drew us level that day? Who scored the equaliser before we beat Brighton at home in February, ladies and gents? Does anybody know?
I'm going to say Sonny.
Sonny? You're going to say Sonny? TJ?
I've got to be honest, I would have said Son as well, but I've got to have something different, haven't I?
Well, you don't know. You could go. You can get a
Yeah.
point apiece. James Coop says Johnson. Billy
I'm
Tippin
going to go
says
Kulusevski.
Kulu.
I know if that's a Billy Tippin, I know. I'm going to go Kulusevski.
Yeah.
Let's take his answer.
Well, you think Billy's that, friend Googling, do you?
Someone's Googling. Well, he put a question mark, so he definitely weren't Googling. James Coops
I
might
can tell
have
you.
Googled it.
I could tell you, Amelia Gaskin says Kulu as well. I can tell you, every one of you is incorrect. It was Sarr. Pape Sarr scored the equaliser against Brighton.
Remember that?
By the way, I like that the boys and the girls in the chat are actually playing. No Googling, guys. No cheating.
Yeah, no Googling. Let's carry on as we go back.
So we're all wrong together.
At the moment, it's 1-0 to Matty. Back to you, TJ, to kick off. In March, first up, what was the significance of Sonny's goal in our 2-1 win against Luton on the 30th of March? What was the significance, I'll ask you all, about Sonny's goal in our 2-1 win against Luton on the 30th of March?
100th Premier League goal.
Is that what you're saying? 100 Premier League goal for Sonny?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt?
Or is that?
What do you
He
think?
might have done it sooner. All right, go on now. Fuck it. I'll stick it now. I've said it. Go on.
You sure? I'll give you 1 second.
That was my instincts. That's what I thought straight away. But I'm pretty sure
always stick with your instinct. Always
saying
stick
that
with your instinct.
he probably done it ages ago. But yeah, go on.
Matty, what are you thinking? Would you agree? James Coop says it was his 250th game.
That's what I was going to say. Probably, I'm not going to go to goals. I'm probably going to go appearances, but I don't know how many appearances, to be fair. So
he's had like 400 for us, isn't he? He's like nearly on 400.
James Coop said 250 Premier
matches. Our top 10 appearances. He's like 5 of our top 10 appearances.
Yeah,
it's not 250.
I don't know how many appearances, mate. So I'm going to have to pass on that one, really.
Right. Okay. Well, I can say the answer was about goals, but it wasn't 100 Premier League goals. It was that goal against Luton.
200 club goals.
It took him on to 160 goals for the club and ahead of legend Cliff Jones, and now into our top 5 all-time goal scorers.
Right, fair.
So his 160th goal put him in the top 5 of all time for Spurs. Another Sonny question in April. What was significant about his appearance against West Ham on the 2nd of April? What was significant about that appearance against West Ham on the 2nd of April? What are people saying in the live feed? What you're saying if you're listening on the way to work, at home, on the podcast, shouting down at the speaker? What was significant about Sonny's appearance in the game against West Ham on the 2nd of April, 2024? Teach. Was it TJ
Matty first. Matty's first.
Oh, no, Yeah, sorry, Matty. You are.
I
Sorry,
ain't got a clue, mate. I ain't got a clue.
Oof. Go on, have a shot in the dark.
Don't know. maybe the 250 Prem matches or something.
Okay. TJ, what are you saying?
Right. So I'm going to try and deduce this because I don't know. But so to be in our top 10 all-time appearances, you've got to have 420 appearances, I think. So
yeah, that Yates West Ham.
yeah, fucking brilliant. 100%. It's appearances.
James Keith says most goals scored against West Ham. Yep. Emilio Gaskin says that he fucking hates West Ham. Billy Tippin says most appearances for an Asian player in the league.
That's not a bad
Matty
shout.
says
That's not a bad shout.
I think. So I think he's nearly at 400 appearances for Spurs, maybe just over.
Well, no, that's in all comps, though, no?
In all comps, yeah, but this is about
in all comps.
So I'm thinking if he's, but is he? How many games have we had since April? It's more than 20. It's got to be more than 20, right? We played 10 in the league.
It is, but what was significant about that game? What was it about Sonny on that day? You want to go with
something about he did on that day?
Yeah, basically there was a monumental significance about that appearance against West Ham on the 2nd of April.
Look, T, you can't give me the answer, mate. So stop stuttering over there, mate. Get on with
Go on, I'll give you 5 seconds. Go on.
I'm waiting for someone to say it in the chat.
What are you saying?
Most goals scored by an Asian player. Most goals scored.
I can tell you that none of you are right. James Coote said Golden Boot. No, none of you are right. But TJ, if you would have said that was his 400th appearance, you would have won the point. It was Sonny's 400th appearance for the club. He's only the 50th player. So I'm doing a Chris Tarrant. Final answer.
Talking out of it. Is that your final answer? Where's my final friend?
Oh, man.
Call Kevin this rate. Fucking hell.
So right, this one is the final one at the moment. Is it 1-1 between you two?
No, he's winning 1-0, which is a draw.
Yeah, 1-0, mate. Yeah. 1-0. Is he going to have a clean sheet?
Oh, the boys.
Right. May.
I mean, on his first goal.
If all of you don't get this, then I'll be very surprised. But in May, who became our youngest ever Premier League player when he came off the bench against City?
Mikey Moore.
Mikey Moore. Matt?
I've got to say Mikey Moore.
He's playing it safe. If I get it wrong,
hang on.
He's playing it safe.
Hang on. No, look. Don't come out with all that, T. Who can I think of a younger player that's come in?
This is what you do. This is what you do when your fantasy team, you're in the last few weeks of the season and you're like 30 points ahead. You start looking at who the closest has got in your team. You just make your team the same as theirs. That's what he's doing. Copy my answers.
No.
Listen,
everybody.
Hang on,
everyone in the chat's doing the same as well. Yeah,
everyone's saying it.
Answers. TJ's got himself in this situation, and now he's trying to mock the tactics that I'm playing.
Yeah, well, I can say it was Mikey Moore. You were all right. Who's playing along? A couple more in the Instagram.
Oh, I was right.
They just along. Smudger, Arlen Pfeiffers. You're all right. It was Mikey Moore. So a point for you all. But overall, 2-1 winner. Tight match, but 2-1 winner. Matty Kerr gets his first win of the season. And as James Coote says, there's only one.
You'll never sing that. You'll never sing.
Wait, I've got the title from last season, so I'm bottom of the table now, though. I'm fucking even Kev's got a point above me.
Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you, everyone who's listened, interacted with the show tonight on the live. If you're listening to the Spotify, it's always great to have you listening, and it really helps. The numbers are always growing. It's fantastic for us, and we really love your interaction on the show. Let us know if ever you want to be on it. We are looking to do that a couple of times this season, to have a couple of guests on, talk about Spurs at significant moments. But lads, have a great week. Let's put our feet up against Galatasaray and hopefully enjoy it, and then back to real business on Sunday. Not that the Europa isn't real business, but we're doing really well there. We definitely need that win against Ipswich. So lads, Have a great week. And everyone who's listening or watching, have a great week. Enjoy the football. Keep the faith. Come on, you Spurs.
Come you Spurs.